Hi, my name is Stevie from the Sensorica Lab in Montreal, and welcome to 2022, a third year of the COVID pandemic. We thought it's going to be finished, but it seems like this thing doesn't want to end. After a few uh, days of taking time off, I see that the activity on Discord is picking up, so I thought that this is a good moment to re-engage the community and take a look at what has been done in 2021 with Greens for Good, this wonderful venture that we all share, and in particular look at funding, and look at one proposal that we fired at the end of 2021 for the Good Food Institute, the GFI. The results are in, we got the reviewers' comments, so we're gonna dive into them, see what we can learn and how to move forward from here. So we're gonna focus mostly on the we're gonna focus most on funding, okay, which is very important for us to accelerate the development of this project. I'm gonna move to my browser here, so you will be able to follow presentation on screen. It's actually not a big presentation, it's just a discussion, but we have some visuals to look at, and in particular to see the results towards the end of the year. So this is the homepage of Sensorica, and I have a shortcut here to navigate to the Greens for Good venture. A few things have changed on the page, so I invite everyone to revisit the page. This should be always your first stop when you want to re-engage with the project. See what's going on from there, and from that page everything is integrated there, so you have the links to everything you need to catch up and start contributing. We've changed a little bit the orientation document here with all the links. You can click and take a look at the documents, the working spaces, various working spaces that we use for this venture. I'm going to go down here to the documentation repository, and we're going to look at some pictures to see the prototyping efforts towards the end of 2021. I want to thank Douglas for being Anthony Douglas, sorry, for being very productive here. We worked together on, I mean, he did the design, the 3D CAD design of this device that you see here. We're gonna take a look at it, and he did most of the 3D printing as well. We've ordered some parts. So what you see on the screen here, it's the decanter centrifuge, which is a module of this whole extruder architecture. The whole extruder architecture is supposed to process green leaves and extract proteins. The decanter centrifuge is one module that takes the juice that has been heated and coagulated and separate the solid state proteins from the remaining liquid. It is a continuous process. There is a document presenting the decanter centrifuge. So if you go to the deliverables folder, you will find the decanter centrifuge design here, and you can actually open the document detailing the process of conceptualization and design of this particular device. This document has gotten pretty long, and it's detailed. You can see the design considerations, the discussions around the design itself, which is the 3D modeling, down to the prototyping of an all 3D printed decanter centrifuge that is has been conceptualized to perform some initial tests on separation of protein from fluid. So this is what it looks like. It is it is a 3D printed device, and we have already ordered the motors to drive this device, electric motors and power supplies and everything else. So we're getting very close to performing the first experiments at the Sensorica lab, and learn the physics of this separation of proteins from the coagulated leaf juice. So this is where we are in the development of the venture, and towards the end of 2008, we have accelerated our funding efforts for this project. I'm going to share the screen again so you could take a look at some of these documents that we use to coordinate the funding. This is the development funding master document for Greens for Good, which means that we're looking for funding to further develop the device, right? Anyone can get involved in funding. This is a decentralized operation, so any participant in the project can build on this platform that myself and MySum have put together. This document contains language that you can copy paste in your grant proposals that you find for your own organization to further our shared agenda. So you can find text, you can find relationships, partnerships that we have developed with researchers and academic labs around the world, and some other tools that help you rapidly write funding proposals. You have the workflow here, which is detailed in this document. Create a workspace, broadcast your intentions to the entire community on Discord, ask for help. Myself and MySum are ready to help because we have put all these tools together, and we know a lot about the venture, but you don't need our help in particular. We're just there to facilitate. Select a funding agency or grant, and compose a group of partners to carry out the project that you propose in the grant. Draft your funding proposal, get feedback and engagement from other affiliates in this Green for Good venture, and finalize your proposal. You have links. Other tools that we have developed is this spreadsheet where you can find a database of various agencies across the world that provide funding for this particular topic, which is plant-based proteins. Really a lot of choices here, categorized by continent or region, and also scored for priority. So these are the tools that we have put together that can help anyone in this open venture to pick a development area and ask for funding while leveraging the entire network for collaboration. Now, if you go on top of this, actually if you go here, you will see the various attempts to fund this project. We have 3 failed attempts documented here, and you can click on any one of these links here to open the grant proposal, and you can always remix these grant proposals. There are other proposals that are under work, and there is a crowdfunding initiative that is ongoing. This is on Gitcoin, and we have a bit of money already from that community there. Not a lot, but a few. So these are the current attempts. These are the failed ones, and let's focus on the last one that was filed, and we got the response in the middle of December, and this is what we're gonna dive into now in particular. So I'm gonna share with you the email from GFI, and this is the reviewers' feedback. I copied this text in the document for GFI so that everything is in the same place. So we were denied funding for this grant proposal, and we see what we can learn from the reviewers' comments. So it's the same text that I copied here because I could underline some important aspects of it, and we could go through all these 4 points. There's 4 comments. We can go through them, see what we learn, and how we can work around that. Okay. So the first 2 points here, I think that they do not really help us. They do not really help us to improve our approach for GFI or for other grant institutions, as a matter of fact. But the last 2 are very pertinent, and we see what we can learn, and they teach us about how to adapt. The first point, essentially what they say is that GFI is already funding 2 other projects for protein extraction, and they don't see how this one in particular would be superior to the other 2. They don't see why the money that they have to spread around would be a wise use for a 3rd project. Okay, there's nothing to do with that. Unless we can propose something phenomenal, they would probably come back on this point here. The second point is something that I find not pertinent for our proposal. So I think it's a mistake when on the side of the reviewers, and we'll see why. We applied for GFI's research grant protein. Actually, no, we applied for so we applied for so let's dive into the second point here, which I think it's unfortunate. I think it's a mistake from the reviewers. This point doesn't make much sense for me. Essentially what it says is that the technical viability and promise of the proposal, as well as its direct applicability to improving plant-based meat, which is the focus of the grant. They say that we will not know whether the extracted protein is suitable for plant-based meat products. Okay. Well, this is the grant that we applied for. The grant is the exploratory research grants of $50,000, and if you go read this language, the language that describes this particular grant, there's many grants here, but for this particular one, it is not a plant-based meat product specific grant. Okay, so Are extrusion-based systems truly able to meet the goal? Proposal does not provide justification that the cost, size, ease of operation of their process and equipment will be feasible for all the stakeholders. That's another thing. Okay. So if we look at the second point, here. In my opinion, this is a mistake from the reviewers. This comment doesn't make much sense for this particular grant. The comment is that the technical viability and promise of the proposal as well as its direct applicability to improving plant-based meat. Well, the grant that we applied for is this one here, exploratory research grants. And if you go read the language of this proposal, this is not specifically for plant-based meat. So this emphasis on plant-based meat is misplaced by the reviewers. The only thing I can read through this is that the reviewers are probably engaged in this particular field of plant-based meat products, and that is a bias from the reviewer side, because the grant it's actually a generic one. Thus, at the conclusion of the project, we will not know whether the extracted protein is suitable for plant-based meat. It doesn't have to be, because this grant is generic. So, unfortunately, these two first points, we can't really learn much about them. There's a comment here which is more generic, which is to say that there is no justification provided, that the cost, size, ease of operation. So here they question the extruder, the extrusion-based system. Is the extrusion-based system really cost-effective? Is the size appropriate? And is the operation easy enough so that it can address the needs of the mentioned stakeholders? Now, this is a little bit harsh because this project is only $50,000, so it's a proof of concept of something. It's not, we're not going to build an extruder from scratch with $50,000. Okay, so I find that this is a little bit harsh. Anyway, so let's go to the next 2 points, which is something that we can actually learn from, because they're more specific, and these 2 points talk about how the Sensorica network is perceived. So this grant was submitted by Sensorica, and Cake was the recipient, used to be the recipient of the grant. Now, when people evaluate proposals that come from Sensorica, they meet a hurdle of understanding what Sensorica is. And this is not the first proposal that we file as Sensorica. We're very careful when we file proposals, because the commons-based peer production model that we advance is very poorly understood, and we often get comments that relate to the novelty of the network and to the lack of trust in this novel approach to innovation. So essentially, technical expertise of the PI in relation to food science, protein, chemistry, etc. It's under question here. How can we trust an open network? No obvious demonstrated interest or experience with the specific topic of the proposal. I think it is clearly stated in the proposal that the goal is to make a decanter centrifuge prototype. Okay, so it's mostly on the mechanical side of it, and in the proposal we've also mentioned great collaboration with a few scientists that are specialized in food science. It's a small grant, $50,000. It's not about food science. It's about prototyping a device. But questioning the technical expertise of an open network, that's what I take from this third point. And it's not the first time we get this kind of comments. It is understandable. It is understandable because even some of our members, for them, or partners for them, the Sensorica model is quite novel, and they have a hard time to believe that we can achieve something with it. But again, it's highly experimental. It is a model that is under development. It's way underfunded, and what we need to understand here is that we are still at this incipient phase where we're trying to bootstrap. We're trying to make a lot with almost nothing, and it's like being trapped in the cycle of poverty. It's we can accuse poor people from being uneducated, but being poor doesn't really help you to get a good education. It's the same thing with the Sensorica network here. What we need to realize is that this is a novel innovation and production model that is trying hard to bootstrap itself. And if we had $1 million, we would demonstrate a lot. But being always rejected because not understood keeps us poor as a network, financially speaking, and therefore it's hard for us to prove these reviewers wrong in terms of their doubts about the technical expertise that the network could accumulate. Okay, let's go to the fourth point. While a global consortia of stakeholders are working towards a common goal, can be a very powerful way to move science and technology forward, meaning they see that we've assembled a network of collaboration, and while this is good, the reviewer says, I have some concerns about the accountability for follow-through of the project, given that the team seems to be a loose network of collaborators and the work would occur at a makerspace that has not been well described in the proposal. Well, again, makerspace is seen not as a very serious place for doing innovation, and what we also see here is that there are concerns about the accountability for follow-through on the project. So it's a question about our methodologies, the project management side of things, and also there's a question about the makerspace as being a proper environment for innovation to occur. Again, this is not the first time we get this kind of comments, so we're pretty much used to this kind of criticism. But this is so we understand it. It's something that is part of our reality, and that teaches us about how to get around this. Okay, the experience that we have from the past is that instead of having Sensorica submitting for the grant, we can hide the network behind a quote-unquote reputable organization. So for example, if we have an academic lab that becomes the PI, all of a sudden we are answering to these concerns. Okay, technical expertise of the PI. Imagine that we have an academic lab that plays the role of the recipient of this grant, and if this lab has some food science, protein chemistry experience, then this comment here can be circumvented and demonstrated some interest. Okay, so instead of being Sensorica holding the bag and asking for the grant, we can put a PI, and that would also clear completely this second negative comment from the reviewers, which means that an academic lab can be seen by reviewers as a proper environment for innovation, and reviewers can trust the innovation methods that are commonly used in academic environments. Okay, so now going back to the choice that we made to have Sensorica being the recipient of this grant, it's because it is a $50,000 grant, not a lot of money. The goal for the project was to mechanically prototype a decanter centrifuge. That's what the goal was clearly stated. So since we had a modest goal, we were not claiming that we will use $50,000 to build a whole extruder. In the proposal, the main objective was to mechanically prototype a decanter centrifuge, and perform some preliminary experiments with it. So we thought that taking into account the minimal amount, $50,000, and the modest aim or goal, we thought, and also the positive response from GFI when we had the first talk with them. They really appreciated the open network side of Sensorica. We thought that it was a good idea to try to to attempt, okay, to try to have Cake and Sensorica being at the forefront of this particular grant proposal. We have to do that every time we can in order to continue to test institutions about their understanding of open networks. But we very well knew that there is always a risk involved, because throughout our history, we've seen that open networks, commons-based peer production is widely misunderstood and not taken seriously by institutions. This is a very simple problem to solve here. We just have to go back to the GFI with the same proposal, but just changing the names and massaging the text a little bit to make it come from a reputable lab, an academic lab, that would take away all these negative comments. Again, the second one is an unfortunate, it's misplaced, the comment. This grant that we submitted to is not specific for meat, plant-based meat. That is, I think the reviewers can I think in the text we could, just with the careful language, we could circumvent this bias of the reviewers. So that's what it is. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. Unfortunately, GFI did not seize the opportunity to work close with a network like Sensorica. I think there's a lot to learn from our open innovation model. Unfortunately, they didn't. They thought that the $50,000 is not a good use for this kind of proximity that they would gain. Taking a close look of how open innovation is done by our network. But we can turn around very rapidly if some of our partners, David or Joshua Pierce, would like to take charge and post this back to GFI as the principal investigator. With this learning, or new learning or relearning, we can go back to the development funding master document and accelerate the writing of these new proposals. There are probably over 50 possible sources of funding that we can apply to. And now we have language, we have some experience. I think we can accelerate this work on funding. I'm going to share again the workflow here. So you go to the Greens for Good development funding effort. This is how the document looks like, and you can find it easily by going to the Greens for Good page, going down, and if you look for capacity, that's what it is about: capacity, building capacity for the venture. And you see here funding, grants, and proposals. This is where all the documentation, everything you need to file a grant proposal, you can find it there. And again, if you need help, find me or Mysum online, and we're more than happy to help you. I will personally engage with other grant proposals in the future, and I think we need to be very careful about sizing the organization that could provide funding and understand how much they would appreciate a proximity relation with Sensorica as an open value network, how much they would like to learn from our open innovation model, and make a wise decision to have either Sensorica and Cake apply for the funding, or go or hide behind one of our partners, hide the network behind one of the partners that seems to be more reputable. It's always a close call, but I think we need to be perseverant, and we need to educate all these institutions around that innovation is not just happening in institutions. Innovation does not just happen in academia or in the private sector. Innovation has moved out into the crowd. Very disruptive technologies have emerged from the crowd, things like blockchain, the popularization of 3D printing, so on and so forth. So we have to recognize the role in innovation of this fourth sector, and Sensorica is a pioneer in this fourth sector, and we have always to continue to educate institutions to this new innovation, the fourth innovation pillar in our society, and find a place for this fourth sector in our society. So thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and we'll continue the discussion on Discord. And if you have specific questions, you can also use the comments of the video so that our exchanges can become publicly available. Thank you.